I'm Kiki, and I wanted to know if you didn't be a sheriff, what job would you do?
I loved sciences, so I, in school and stuff, I liked biology and that sort of stuff. And I would like to went into maybe medical field, and I also love computers. So I actually, when I got out of high school, I enrolled at Shawnee and I started to do computer programming. But I started on my second year, and then I said, hey, let's go join the Air Force. So that's when I got out of the computers and just went into the Air Force, and I started doing law enforcement there.
My name's Wanda, and my question is, what's your favorite thing about your job?
Helping people. Throughout my life, I have always loved helping people. One of my, the first job I had, I was a lifeguard, and I taught young kids and grown-ups how to swim, and I taught first aid. So I've always liked helping people.
My name is Wanda, and what made you decide to be a sheriff?
I have a lot of people that come up to me. I have business owners and citizens and even other people in different jobs in law enforcement when asking me to run for sheriff. Throughout my career, I've always helped people and treated people fairly, and people saw how I acted with people, how I treated people, and they liked that. So when a position was coming open, they said, hey, why don't you run for sheriff?
My name's Malia, and what made you want to do law enforcement in the Air Force?
That's a good question. There was a lot of different jobs in the Air Force. I thought about doing computers because, like I said earlier, I love computers. The recruiter said that they needed law enforcement at that time, so I said, okay, I can do that. But growing up and being a young child, of course, you play cops and robbers, and being a young boy growing up, and I said, oh, that sounds fun. Let's go try and do that.
I don't even know. But my name's Adrian, and hold on, wait a second. I don't know, baby.
Well, try.
Like, the thing is, I wasn't thinking about that at all. Like, the question.
Okay, well, that's okay.
It's all right. Yeah.
You have anything you want to ask him in general about what he does in a day or anything like that?
Yeah, what's your routine?
My routine as being sheriff, most of my job is in the office. I look for stuff to make the sheriff's office better. So we go after grants. Grants are monies that you can ask the state or the federal government for, say, like if we need body armor for our deputies to make them safer, or if we want to do a certain type of programming within the community, we can ask for monies to help do that, so that it's not costing our citizens additional monies. I look at policies and procedures to make sure that everything, our directions and so forth, are proper for our deputies, and sometimes we need to change things. So that's my job, to make sure that we are always doing stuff that is proper. A lot of times if I like going to and from, or if there's a bad incident, I'll go respond to that. If there's like a shooting or a bad robbery and somebody's hurt real bad, I'll respond to that. Drug raids, I'll always go to them whenever the SWAT team or our task force are going into a house, because I have always liked getting the drugs off our street. When I worked at the Portsmouth Police Department, I was on the drug task force, so I always like to go after those that are bringing the drugs into our community, because I think probably all of us have been affected somehow by our family's been addicted to or whatever with some type of drug or even alcohol too. You look like you're easy. Go ahead and put
I have a couple questions for you from just some of the things you've been talking about, and this is real key too for you guys when you're interviewing someone, because I noticed you guys asked the same question a couple times, but you want to listen to what the person is saying so you can follow up with a question. So one thing that I thought was key, you said you teach folks how to swim. And I feel like that's lacking in this area. Do you have any recommendations of where, again, I don't know if any of you guys can swim or not, but do you have any recommendations of where folks can learn stuff like that, or?
I do not know where they do that now. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Red Cross will be able to hook people up on
Oh,
that.
okay.
When I did it, we had a YMCA. That's where I worked at, and we had people that were water safety instructors, and they taught me how to be an instructor. I had training through the Red Cross for first aid, so I was able to teach people first aid. I really enjoyed that. I really like doing kids. I even taught babies. That wasn't my favorite, I guess. I love teaching the kids and even the grown-ups. I actually helped I think he was 18 at the time, to learn how to swim some because he was going into the Navy. And of course, Navy is out in the water a lot, so of course they want to be able to swim. So I love water, and I love diving as well. When I was in the Air Force, at my first base, we always went to a high school that had a pool and a diving board too, and I guess one of the employees there watching diving and stuff, hey, you're really good, can you come and be our diving instructor? And I was like, well, I'm getting ready to go to Belgium, so I can't do that. but I just have always loved the water.
And I think that's important because, again, with all of us, we live by waterways, and a lot of times people don't understand the significance to that. So
If you find yourself in water, I mean, just important not to panic, because a lot of people panic when they get in the water. But the swimming is not too difficult if you don't know how to do it. Just get somebody that knows how, and stay in the shallow end and practice and get better and better.
thank you for that. Yeah, because that's some good advice. Another thing I want to ask, here recently, we just did a broadcast with you, and again, it was about bridging some different things that's going on in our area, but we talked about public speaking and how important that is to your job.
Yes, being an elected official, you have to go out and talk. That's one thing about being in politics, the things I do not like. I do not like talking about myself, because I've always taught not to do that. So in public life, of course, you have to say, hey, look how good I am, so people will be able to vote for you. Then also ask for money. I don't like asking for money because running for an office also costs a lot of money, so you have to go to places that do benefits and stuff to try to raise money so that you can buy the stuff that you need, the signs, and also like when I go attend the fair, I donate monies for like 4-H and so forth, so that costs money too, so you try to raise money to help kids and other sponsor teams and so forth.
I have another question.
Sure.
Okay.
What do you carry in your pockets?
In my pockets,
Like right now, what do you have on your belt and in your pockets?
in my belt, I have extra ammunition in case I need it. I have mace that burns your eyes and nose and so forth. So if somebody's fighting and being aggressive, of course you try to do everything you can not to hurt somebody. And mace, it's called less lethal, so it's an easier way to try to make somebody not fight you or fight somebody else. I have an ASP, which is an expandable baton, which is less lethal as well, because you always try to do your best not to hurt somebody when you have to arrest somebody. But sometimes people are high on drugs or intoxicated on alcohol, or they may have some issues with their mind, and a lot of times you may have to fight with somebody. And of course, we never like doing that, and you try to get as many people as you can, because if you have more people, it's less likely that you have to that somebody's going to get hurt. And right now in my pockets, I just have my keys and my wallet. Sometimes when I was on the street, I'll have a card that for people's rights. So if you want to ask somebody questions, you can read them the rights so they know what that they have a right not to talk to me, or they also have a right to speak with an attorney before they speak with me.
That's interesting. They are a few years away from this, but you guys are planning on driving soon, correct? No. He says no. You'll change your mind probably.
Well, then, you not.
Might be easier off, huh? What is some, and the only reason I'm asking this, because being in driver's ed, a lot of times people don't know how, because you're talking about speaking to you, but what should someone do if they get pulled over?
When pull over, what I've always done, and you have to talk with your kids and stuff, is always have your hands on, because on the steering wheel, or visible, so that the officer can see where your hands are. Because the bad thing is, if you can't see somebody's hands, you don't know if they're going for a weapon or that can hurt you. So you always have your hands up, and of course we are always taught to be respectful of somebody, and just should come up and say, I'm Sheriff Thoroughman, and the reason I stopped you for is speeding or an improper turn or something like that. And they'll see your license, and just get your license, and they'll should be asking you for your insurance as well. So, and they may ask you for the registration of the car, which is for your tag, and it shows the tag goes to that car.
I have a bunch of weird questions.
There's not questions are not weird. I mean, questions, always ask questions. That's how we learn, is asking questions.
I was wondering if you could dance.
If I can dance, my wife says no. My youngest daughter is always trying to get me to go up there so she can do a TikTok.
That's funny. Do you like, I'm just going to ask this because, again, you guys have helped me with some of the parades. Do you like doing the parades?
I like doing it. I like going out and seeing people. They're always fun. I've been in lots of parades because my oldest daughter, she has been in 8th grade. She was the, whatever title it is, like Young Miss River Days or Junior River Days, whatever it is. Then when she was a senior, she was Miss Ohio's Outstanding Teen. So got to do that. Then she got to go to the Miss America pageant too for the team. So she's very good at that. And my younger daughter, she has been in lots of pageants, so have to go in lots of parades for that as well.
How old is your youngest daughter?
My youngest daughter, she just turned 18 in December, and she just graduated. And my oldest daughter, she is a doctor now, and she's living in Kentucky, and she is in her 3rd year of residency.
Wow.
My sister is trying to be like the person that like x-rays bones. I forget what it was called.
Radiologist?
Yeah, radiologist. She's training to be a radiologist right now.
That's a very good job. I actually just left a radiologist. I had to have an MRI on my back because I had some injuries throughout my career. So have to keep up on those. And my youngest, or my son, he was going to school for that, and he was almost done, but then he said, I'm gonna go down to Nashville and sing. So he's been down to Nashville singing
Wow.
for a little while.
That's pretty cool, huh, guys?
Have you ever got like shot on the job? Like,
I've been shot at, but I have not been shot.
That's still kind of scary, though, isn't it?
It's not a good feeling.
my mom and my sister and my dad's like watching like 911 and like a bunch of like doctor firefighter show. Like my sister watches Grey's Anatomy, my dad watches House, my mom watches 911.
Yeah, always good shows. I've watched The House, and my youngest, I think now she's watching Grey's Anatomy.
I like House.
Yes, I like House as well.
Have you ever had like a super scary job or anything like that?
There's, of course, in our job we respond to lots of bad things and scary stuff, but you always, I mean, the scary stuff is good to have the fear because it makes you think, and keeps you on your toes so that you're paying attention to what is happening around you. Because, I mean, a lot of stuff you go to, you may be going to some place that has somebody that's broke into a place, so you're in the dark a lot of times and you're searching for somebody that may be hiding in there, and you don't know if they have a weapon, so you're always trying to pay attention. But it's okay to be scared, but because I think the scare helps you to pay attention to what is around you so that you don't get hurt.
Have you ever had like something happen to you or your family like off duty?
Yes. I've ran into situations off duty. Actually, I had arrested somebody that had a whole lot of drugs on him, and when I was out shopping at Lowe's, I ran into the person right after that, and I was doing something, talking to somebody, and I just happened to turn around, and he was coming at me, and he was most likely was going to assault me, but when I turned around, he turned and went in a different direction. So even off duty, I have to pay attention.
A dog that like sounded like it was serious, but it was just like a really funny one. Anything like that?
Yeah, I've had a lot of funny things that have happened throughout my career. I wish that I had kept a diary and wrote down stuff, but a lot of times when you are dispatched to a call, it's not exactly as it was dispatched. And you say you may be called to a fight, and you might go there and it may be somebody just playing around, or somebody says that they have a criminal damage in report, it might be an accident. So a lot of times it's a little bit different than what it is called. I'm trying to think of a funny call. I mean, there's just been so many things that have happened that when you get there, it's like, oh, this is funny. But and there's a lot of strangeness that you see as well. But you get to laugh at times.
Has a kid ever called you like, not like our age, but like younger, like a 6-year-old?
Yeah, I've actually had, and the person did a really good job. I think she was probably about your age, and it was actually in this area, but her friend had came over, and the friend had somebody else come over to their house that was not a good person. So, and she was like, I'm sorry for calling. And I was like, no. You did the right thing. This person is a bad person, and you did exactly what you were supposed to do. So, and probably have younger ones as well that have called, and which is okay. If there's ever a problem, you want to make sure that you give us a call so that we come and able to help you.
It's a good question, Kiki.
I love helping kids. I love kids because they are our future, and they're innocent, and we should always do what we can to protect them.
What is your favorite thing that you do on your job?
Just help because a lot of times you go to a scene and you try to, I mean, especially the little ones, it's very sad when you go there and you try to help the kids. You try to help, like if somebody is in a domestic situation, you try to have the other person realize what is happening around you, so that they can get out of that situation. My father was not a nice person, so I have experience in that, so I like to be able to help people. And if somebody's living in a situation where somebody is hitting them, it's not good. If you love somebody, you don't hit somebody.
Ask, okay.
Hi, my name is Kyle Crawford, and I'm here with Vincent.
Very good name.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Lindell, and I'm 11 years old.
What questions do you have?
What is it like working at the police department?
It's exciting because a day is always different. You get different type of calls, so there's all kinds of stuff that you can do there. I worked at the Portsmouth Police Department, and I retired from there. And then I worked at the university, and I started a police department there. And then people asked me to run for sheriff, so I ran for sheriff and did that. But law enforcement is exciting because there's lots of stuff that you can do in that. You can be a detective, which is fun to go and solve crimes, even patrol. When I became sergeant, I had the people that worked under me to start following up on their own calls. So if they had somebody got a call to say, "Hey, somebody assaulted me," so I had them to go follow up on that. And if they were able to make an arrest, to go ahead and make the arrest. But it's exciting just because it's always different.
How long have you been working at this police station?
As a sheriff, this is my first term, and so I am on my 4th year. In law enforcement, in the civilian side, it has been a little bit over 35 years. April was 35 years. I've also did law enforcement in the Air Force, so overall, including my Air Force, it's almost 40 years.
Do you remember, like, what was your first mission or something like that? Your first call?
One of my first calls that I remember being a young officer at Portsmouth, I was working afternoon turn, and we got a call of somebody that was intoxicated and threatening people with a knife, and it was down by the Mitchell Place building. There's a bar, it was called Thompson's Bar, and he was outside there. So when I got there, me and another officer, he started coming at us, and he had a knife, so we had to yell at him and kind of put the knife down and not hurt anybody. But as a young officer, that's one of the first calls I can remember. And when I was riding with somebody, one of the first calls is I remember getting called down to where the bridge is on the west side of the city. It was a domestic call.
Have you ever tased somebody before?
I've never had a taser. When I was a captain, when we got tasers at Portsmouth, and I got tasers for people because we got a call of a big guy on a young girl's porch with a large knife near where the university is. And when we got down there, there was a very large person there with a very large knife just standing there. And you can tell that he had some problems. And he would not listen to us. He just stood there with the knife at the young girl's door. So I knew that the sheriff's office, they had just gotten tasers, but I called them and they had not issued those out to the deputies yet. So I also knew that the State Highway Patrol, they had some. And at that time, the supervisors carried tasers. So I had them come down and he set up on the side. And I decided to have the supervisor use the taser because the person on the porch was not listening to us. And like I said, he's standing there with a very large knife and you don't want anybody to get hurt. And at that time, we also had bean bags that we could shoot out of shotguns. And there's lots of people there, and I didn't want anybody to think that we were shooting the person. So instead of using the bean bags, I asked the sergeant to tase the guy. And when he tased him, it just froze up and he went down to the ground very stiff. And we were able to get the knife out of his hand and take him away from the girl's house.
What's a domestic?
A domestic call is when people of husband and wife, boyfriend or living, boyfriend and girlfriend, when they're living together and they are arguing. Sometimes they can just be arguing, and sometimes it may be involve violence. And that's probably one of our most regular calls. We get a lot of those, or we may get loud disturbance calls. People call in on that. Of course, when you live in the city, if somebody has their music up, or they may be just yelling in next door, so keeping people awake. Of course, you don't want to hear everybody else's stuff that's going on when you're trying to enjoy your family time.
What was your hardest mission?
The hardest thing that I ever had to do was we had to respond to Notre Dame Elementary School when a guy went in there and shot and stabbed his estranged wife. That was my longest and hardest day.
I remember that. I go to Notre Dame. They tell that story sometimes, and my classmates are like, "Did you know that there was this one time that somebody actually came into school who shot up the school?" And I'm like,
They didn't shoot up the school, but they went directly to where his wife was. They were separated at the time because he was doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing, and he actually stabbed his girlfriend right before then he went to the school, and then he did that, and that's where actually I ended up getting shot at. Was we went to his house, and then when we got to his house, then he shot at me and another officer. But seeing that was one of the hardest days too, because you see the fear on little kids' face. And you don't want to see that. You remember I guess the kids that when you see them that are hurt and so forth, that it's very difficult.
So I'm going to ask a question on that, and you guys are in Wings of Hope, and they work a lot with behavioral and mental health. So that's a follow-up, I guess, for you. That's a lot of the things that you probably see.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually just spoke with the lieutenant governor on, I believe, Monday. He came down and asked him, like, what is it issues that they can help with. And I have been talking with our governor, lieutenant governor, our representatives, senators on getting mental health. When I was young officer, we actually had a place that we could take people to, but they closed that down, so we have no place around here to take people to get help. and there's one place, it's in Athens, Ohio, but it's only a few beds, and they have a whole lot of counties that they actually have to serve. So trying to get people the needed help is difficult. So every time I get a chance to talk about that, I talk about that we need that. And also I talked about some of the money that they are spending on recovery. Recovery is important, but we have a lot of people that also take advantage of that. And I much rather spend the money on kids to do prevention, because it's much easier to keep somebody from starting drugs or alcohol than it is to try to get the people off. So I like I said before, helping the kids, and it's very important not to do the drugs or alcohol, because it catches up with us, and if you look around, you can see what it does to people's lives. I'm surprised of how much social media that we have, and you can see in the closeness too. We come close as a society because we get more and more people, so we live closer together, so we get to see what happens when people are addicted to drugs. So I still get surprised when we get so many people that try that, because when I was young, I see stuff and I'm like, my dad was a bad alcoholic, so I always knew that at a young age I'm not going to have something that would control my life. I wanted more and better for my kids. So.
Us as citizens, again, because we see mental health, and anybody can have a good day or a bad day, but what can we do as citizens when we're in a situation like with mental health or dealing with people with?
If you have family members or friends and they're going through hard times, we can talk with them. Talking helps a whole lot. Communication helps a lot in my job. So when I go there and somebody is really angry, or if they're going through a difficult situation, you try to talk them down so that they don't hurt themselves or somebody else. And you can do the same thing if your friends are having hard times. Hey, talk to me. What are you going through? And what can I do to help you? And if it's too bad, you can always, talk to your parents and say, hey, my friend is doing this, or cousin or whoever is going through this. And there's a lot of places out there that can help people, so we try to direct them to that. We can take them to the hospital, or say they have this treatment facility that can help them. So there's always lots of places that can help people, so we try to get them the help that they need.
Do you guys got any final questions for David?
Have you ever cried because of a mission?
Yes, when I don't know if I have on the scene, but when you get back and you think what's happened, and the ones that bother me the most, like I said, is the kids. I can still get choked up when I talk about the kids at Notre Dame, or seeing a young child that has been abused or even murdered. That's hard. So then you start also thinking about your kids, and like, how can somebody do this to somebody? So that is hard. But I have a good family and also a good church that you go to, that you're able to talk with people, and it also just helps being around people that are able to help you or just talk. So having just talking and being around people, having a good time and stuff helps with those type of situations.
What does stars?
Stars, I have one for every 5 years that I've been in law enforcement.
Oh.
Has any of your family members ever called you, like on duty or like something happening?
I don't know if they have when I've been working. Now, I've arrested a person that my mother was married to at one point in time, but he was, I'm trying to think what it was, I don't know. He wasn't the nicest of persons, but I think he may have been intoxicated at a bar and being disorderly, so.
Kind of interesting, huh? Yeah.
And some of his relatives have arrested who's inside of a bar with a gun and being not a good person. So.
I watch cop people getting arrested sometimes.
And sometimes, I mean, you have to arrest people that you know, but and when I'm always doing my job, I always try to look at it, if I'm in that situation, how would I like to be treated? So I always try to treat people as best as you can.
Well, you guys want to go ahead and thank him for coming today, and then we'll get a group shot at the end.
It's very nice meeting you all.
I learned that sheriffs have to do a lot, and sometimes some missions can do something to them, even if it doesn't relate to them at all.
That's good. Yeah.
Being scared isn't a bad thing, and it's how you learn sometimes.
Yep.
You have something to say?
Malia, what'd you learn today?
That that cops aren't bad people, and they can actually help.
Not all cops. Help you in life.
What'd you say, Journey?
I said help you in life.
Mm-hmm.
Like help the community out.
Yep.
And they have emotions too.
Yes.
Some people think cops are bad, but they're the ones that help you and save you and that's
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you, David.